welcome back to another Let's Read Our Bible Together. Today we're going to be reading Genesis 13 through 16. Genesis 13, Abram and Lot separate. So Abram left Egypt and traveled north into the Negev, along with his wife and Lot, and all that they owned. Abram was very rich in livestock, silver and gold. From Negev, they continued traveling by stages towards Bethel, and they pitched their tents between Bethel and Ai, where they had camped before. This was the same place where Abram had built the altar, and there he worshipped the Lord again. Lot, who was traveling with Abram, had also become very wealthy with flocks of sheep and goats, herds of cattle, and many tents. But the land could not support both Abram and Lot with all of their flocks and herds living so close together. So disputes broke out between the herdsmen of Abram and Lot. At that time, Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land. Finally, Abram said to Lot, "Let's not allow this conflict to come between us or our herdsmen. After all, we are close relatives. The whole countryside is open to you. Take your choice of any section of the land you want, and we will separate. If you want the land to the left, then I'll take the land on the right. If you prefer the land on the right, then I'll go to the left." Lot took a long look at the fertile plains of the Jordan Valley in the direction of Zoar. The whole area was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord or the beautiful land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot chose for himself the whole Jordan Valley to the east of them. He went there with his flocks and servants and parted company with his uncle Abram. So Abram settled in the land of Canaan, and Lot moved his tents to a place near Sodom and settled among the cities of the plain. But the people of this area were extremely wicked and constantly sinned against the Lord. After Lot had gone, the Lord said to Abram, "Look, as far as you can see in every direction, north and south, east and west. I'm giving all this land as far as you can see to you and your descendants as a permanent possession, and I will give you so many descendants like that, the dust of the earth, they cannot be counted. Go and walk through the land in every direction, for I am giving it to you." So Abram moved his camp to Hebron and settled near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. There he built another altar to the Lord. Genesis 14. Abram rescues Lot. About this time, war broke out in the region. King Akram of Babylon, King Archia of Elsar, King Kedorlaomer and of Elam, and King Tidal of Goyim fought against King Bera of Sodom, King Brisha of Gorma, King Shinaba of Adam, King Shemer of Zimbo, and the king of Bela, also called Zor. The second group of kings joined forces in Siddim Valley. This is the valley of the Dead Sea. For 12 years they had been subject to King Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled against him. One year later, Kedorlaomer and his allies arrived and defeated the Rephites at, I'm gonna say the first letter of the words because I can't get that. AK, the Zutis at Ham, and the Mites of Shavram, and the H at Mount Seir, as far as El Parin at the edge of the wilderness. Then they returned back and came to En Mesite, now called Kadesh, and conquered all the territory of the Amalekites and also the Amorites living in Hazan Tamar. Then the rebel kings of Sodom, G, A, Z, and Bel, also called Zor, prepared for the battle in the valley of the Dead Sea. They fought against King K of Elan, King Tidal of Guam, King Amaphia of Babylon, and King Archie of Azar, 4 kings against 5. As it happened, the valley of the Dead Sea was filled with tar pits, and as the army of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into the tar pits, while the rest escaped into the mountains. The victorious invaders then plundered Sodom and Gomorrah and headed for home, taking with them all the spoils of the war and the food supplies. They also captured Lot, Abram's nephew who lived in Sodom, and carried off everything the he owned. But one of Lot's men escaped and reported everything to Abram, the Hebrew, who was living near the oak grove belonging to Mamre the Amorite, Mamre and his relatives, Eshcol and Aner, were Abram's allies. When Abram heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he mobilized the 318 trained men who had been born into his household. Then he pursued Kay's army until he caught up with them at D. There he divided his men and attacked during the night. Kay's army fled, but Abram chased them as far as Habah, north of Damascus. Abram recovered all the goods that had been taken, and he brought back his nephew Lot with his possessions and all the women and other captives. Blesses Abram. After Abram returned from his victory over Kay and all his allies, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shavah, that is the king's valley. And the king of Sodom and priest of God Most High brought Abram some bread and wine, and blessed Abram with this blessing. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has defeated your enemies for you. Then Abram gave him a tenth of all the goods he had recovered. The king of Sodom said to Abram, give back my people who were captured, but you may keep for yourself all the goods you have recovered. Abram replied to king of Sodom, I solemnly swear to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take so much as a single thread or a sandal thong for which belongs to you. Otherwise you might say, I am the one who Abram rich. I will accept only what my young warriors have already eaten, and I request that you give a fair share of the goods to my allies A, E, and M. Genesis 15, the Lord's covenant promise to Abram. Sometime later, the Lord spoke to Abram in a vision and said to him, do not be afraid, Abram, for I will protect you and your reward will be great. But Abram replied, O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you've given me no children, E of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You have given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir. Then the Lord said to him, no, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir. Then the Lord took Abram outside and said to him, look up into the sky, count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have. And Abram believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Then the Lord told him, I am the Lord who brought you out of the Chaldeans to give you this land as your possession. But Abram replied, O servant Lord, how can I be sure that I will actually possess it? The Lord told him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. So Abram presented all these to him and killed them. Then he cut each animal down the middle and laid the halves side by side. He did not, however, cut the bird in half. Some vultures swooped down to eat the carcasses, but Abram chased them away. As the sun was going down, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a terrifying darkness came down over him. Then the Lord said to Abram, you can be sure that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land where they will be oppressed as slaves for 400 years, but I will punish the nation that enslaves them, and in the end they will come away with great wealth. As for you, you will die in peace and be buried at a ripe old age. After 4 generations, your descendants will return here to this land, for the sins of the Amorites do not yet warrant their destruction. After the sun went down and darkness fell, Abram saw a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch pass between the halves of the carcasses. So the Lord made a covenant with Abram that day and said, I have given this land to your descendants all the way from the border of Egypt to the great Euphrates River. The land now occupied by K, H, P, R, A, M, G, S, and J. Genesis 16, the birth of Ishmael. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarah said to Abram, the Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her. And Abram agreed with Sarah's proposal. So Sarah, Abram's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abram as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abram had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar, and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress Sarah with contempt. Then Sarah said to Abram, "This is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, but now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show who's wrong, you or me." Abram replied, "Look, she is your servant, so deal with her as you see fit." Then Sarah treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. The angel of the Lord found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness, along the road to Shur. The angel said to her, "Hagar, Sarah's servant, where have you come from and where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress Sarah," she replied. The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit to her authority." Then he added, "I will give you more descendants than you can count." And the angel also said, "You are now pregnant and you will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means God hears, for the Lord has heard you crying of distress. This son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives." Thereafter, Hagar used another name to refer to the Lord who had spoken to her. She said, "You are the God who sees me." She also said, "Have I truly seen the one who sees me?" So that well was named Ber-Lahai, which means well of the living one who sees me. It can still be found between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar gave Abraham a son, and Abraham named him Ishmael. Abraham was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. All right, that concludes our reading for today. Make sure you go and check out the study notes that goes along with this. They already posted. It says study notes on my channel. They also come with artwork that goes along with the study notes. So make sure you're keeping up with those as well. I love you guys, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye. I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am, I am, I am blessed, 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 I am, I seen another day, seen another breath, and I seen another raindrop trickle on all the leaves. Felt a little pain, but I felt a lot of joy. So I know to see and to breathe and to feel only means one thing. So I still believe, cause I know I got life, so I can't fight. And I know, say I relax on the hope of a good time, hope of a good time. Cause it's a choice, so yeah, I know it. To see the world and not be hopeless. I know, yes, I know that. Blessed with another chance, I am. 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 I'm blessed with another chance, I am. Blessed with another chance, I am. And every day, always on my head high, and my chest high, but that don't mean I don't cry. La 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 la, my enemies I'ma say bye bye. Energy feeling like I can't fly.